They're not their own person. They're just sort of here for me to uh, project myself onto. Not a fan. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing the Unpopular Opinions book tag because I am just having a salty week and I don't really know what to do right now with myself, so we're doing the book tag. I believe the original poster was the book Archer. I'll link down below for the original video, and I feel like these are some pretty good questions, so here we go. Notes. Always notes. These terrible things. Alright, number 1. A popular book series that you didn't like. There are a ton of these. So the Grisha trilogy, 50 Shades, Twilight, Daughter of Smoke and Bones, Saw Kill Girls. Those are the top 5 at the moment that I didn't like. They're all for honestly different reasons. I read Daughter of Smoke and Bone, the first in that trilogy, and it didn't speak to me. I understood why people would like it, but it wasn't for me. The Grisha trilogy, again, for that one, I just straight up didn't understand why people liked it. The magic was cool, but like, Alina was milquetoast. The characters were not fleshed out, in my opinion. The Darkling was, ooh, it was awesome. He was dark bad boy, but like at the same time he was manipulative, and I didn't like him at all. 50 Shades and Twilight, just terrible romances. 50 Shades, in my opinion, was worse because it shone the kink community in just a terrible light. So many problematic things with that. And also, it really perpetuated this idea that new adult really has to be like sexy and everything, and frankly that's not what new adult should be, but it's really damaged that section of our reading, in my opinion. And Saw Kill Girls was laughable. You can see my review in this video over here. Other videos, I'll link it below. Alright, so number 2, a popular book series everyone else seems to hate but you love. That's kind of difficult because if people hate it, I usually hate it. I think if we're taking the word popular out of the equation and just a book that most people didn't like but you loved, I would have to say The Scarlet Letter, which is kind of weird because I don't really like classics, but when we were required to read it for school, for whatever reason, the writing or the way that everything flowed, the language that it used, which is, you know, quite old, it really spoke to me. I found it really easy to read. I don't know. If you've read The Scarlet Letter, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's not quite a love story, and it touches on some things that we would consider to be sort of feminist issues, but not in the right light. And like, I'm confused. I don't know. But I liked it. Number 3, a love triangle where the main character ended up with the person that you did not want them to end up with, or an OTP that you didn't like. I didn't finish the series because I didn't even really start it, but I mean, I did follow what was going on, sort of, because it was a movie series and it was so popular for so freaking long. But yeah, I'll say Twilight, because I was like, why end up with the vampire when this other boy loves you so much and you have a legitimate relationship with him, because, you know, you're hanging out, he's comforting you, you're getting to know one another instead of just being in love with the idea of a person. But what do I know? Number 4, a popular genre that you hardly reach for. This is gonna make me sound like a terrible reader because I enjoy short stories of a lot of these genres. But I don't actually go for like novels of these. So like, I like horror. I really enjoy horror, but I don't really reach for horror novels. So like, I'm not a huge Stephen King fan, even though I probably should read something by him soon. I don't really look for horror novels. I'm not a romance person. Like, I like romance, but I don't like romance novels. Contemporaries just aren't my thing. I've tried a lot of contemporary literature during my time in school, or just suggestions that people have given me, and it's not my taste. Actually, I don't reach for a lot of sci-fi, which I'm ashamed to say because that's a genre that I feel is very closely related to fantasy. It's like, you know, they're a close cousin, and I don't pick it up. I also don't really go for classics. Again, it was like the contemporary of whatever age that was. Also, even though I don't like classics, I like historic fiction. I also like first-hand accounts of things that have happened historically, but I don't like journal entry books. There was a popular series that it was like a princess series when I was growing up. Can't remember exactly what that was called, but it was like these princesses like journal entries, and it was you were supposed to get a story from that. Hated those. I don't want to pick up Dracula because it's told through a series of stories like journal entries and newspaper clippings. So yeah, those, it's not a genre per se, but it's a style of writing. Number 5, a popular or beloved character that you did not like. This falls under the heading of milquetoast main characters. Mostly milquetoast female main characters. You all know what I'm talking about. I don't like the main character in The Red Queen or The Black Witch. Even if they're like a little bit quirky. If I feel like, oh, I could just slip myself into this character. They're not their own person. They're just sort of here for me to project myself onto. Not a fan at all. I know a lot of people like them, and they're designed in such a way that you're supposed to like them because you can project yourself onto them, and that's the psychology of it. But I hate it. I don't want to put myself in the story. I want to be taken on a story. Number 6, a popular author that you just can't seem to get into. And again, a lot of these unpopular opinions fall under the heading of you wrote something milquetoast. So, Sarah J. Maas, Cassandra Clare, to a large extent, Laini Taylor. I know they're popular, like especially Cassandra Clare. She's written so many books and they're so long and people just love them to death. I can't get into them because at some point I've heard people's reviews, whether they're detailed or not, and there are things that I know I'm not gonna like. So I don't try. I feel like it would be a waste of time and money and resources if I tried to make my own opinions about them. I did try Laini Taylor. Again, I picked up Daughters of Smoke and Bone and was not thrilled. In the same way that I wasn't thrilled with the Grisha trilogy, and I was like, I'm never gonna read anything by Leigh Bardugo. And yet, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom proved me wrong. So unless it's something vastly different from what they're known for, I don't really want to give them a chance. I'm gonna give Laini Taylor another chance with Strange the Dreamer, because I've heard relatively good things about them in ways that I think I could get on board with. But generally I know what these ladies are about. I know the type of reader that they're trying to capture and pander to, and I'm just not that reader. Number 7, a popular book trope that you are tired of seeing. Milquetoast main characters. But also we have a problem, in my opinion, that there are these token characters that are really just sort of thrown away or aren't fully fleshed out. So we have the token LGBTQ plus member, we have the token Asian character, the token black person, or the token girl who's really nice, or the token girl who's really terrible, or the token boy who's not a misogynist, or the token boy who is a misogynist. Like, these random characters that don't really serve a purpose in the story other than to make it diverse. You can't force diversity. You can't shoehorn these things to pander to readership. It has to feel natural. It has to feel like real life. You don't just have one type of person, and you don't just have the token person either. If you find that the token person in real life, there's a lot of things surrounding that, and you have to at least acknowledge those things, if not fully dive into them. Another one is the strong female character, and I'm not talking about the character who survives no matter what the cost, or who's a badass and has a softer side. Those are rounded characters. I'm talking about the girl who's really badass with the sword, and she don't have no time for no man, and who had to best all the other boys. And I don't know, there's a lot of very like one-dimensional things about these strong female characters that don't feel real and have really become a stereotype. The girl who is more like one of the guys and doesn't like any girls because girls are stupid. Like, that's not good. It's not a good message to send out to girls. You can be feminine and still strong. You can cry and still be strong. You don't have to be the best with weapons or have any sort of, background in, self-defense. in order to be a strong character. That's not the point. We're talking about characters who love themselves and who stand up for themselves and don't take any shit, but who are also loving, kind, and caring. Like, you can have a well-rounded, well-balanced character, even if they make mistakes, and they should make mistakes because we learn from them. But the one-dimensional, strong female character just really gets my goat. I'm tired of seeing her. She needs to leave. Bye-bye. Number 8, a popular series that you have no interest in reading. Anything by Sarah J. Maas, Cassandra Clare. But also, I don't know if the series is called Cinder, but the series that is the retelling of fairy tales, including the book Cinder, which I think is the first one, not on my alley. Shatter Me. Beyond the fact that people have mixed opinions about it and that it has gone on too long and such and so forth, all that, I wouldn't have been interested in the first place. Not my thing. I think those are like the big popular ones, like at this moment, that I don't have interest in reading. Anyway, number 9. The saying goes, the book is always better than the movie. But what movie or TV show adaptation do you prefer more than the book? Well, definitely Neil Gaiman's Coraline. It is a much scarier book than what it is in the movie. And I also think that it's much darker than the movie. The darkness of the theme and like the ghost children are very much counterbalanced in the movie with the bright, colorful, you know, strangeness of the other world and how wonderful things seem. And even though we get an inkling of that in the books, it's not as vivid as it is, and it's not as fun as it is in the movie. I do think a lot of the times that when we're talking about adaptations, some of the nitty-gritty details get lost because there's just not enough time, or we're trying to make this show speak or this movie speak to like the lowest common denominator, and that doesn't always work out for books, but it works really well for the visual medium. So a lot of times I feel like I like certain aspects about the show or the movie as opposed to the book, but then there are things that I'm like, I really wish they would have included in the movie or the TV series they couldn't make room for. It's kind of like what's happening with Game of Thrones right now. I have only read the first 2 books in the Game of Thrones series, or the Song of Ice and Fire, and there are things that were changed that I definitively noticed were changed for the TV series that I actually enjoy more. Spoiler warning here. At the end of book 2, Arya goes and starts serving as like a chamber, or was it like a serving girl for the Boltons, and not at Harrenhal for Tywin Lannister, which is what happens in the TV show. I actually prefer the TV show's version. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of like that quippy interaction with Arya and Bruce Bolton, but I enjoy that in the television show, and I think that it starts a different sort of path for Arya, which ultimately will end up in the same place, with her becoming one of the Faceless Men. But I enjoyed that little intermediary story that they gave in the TV show, not in the book. But that's one aspect. I actually think that I still prefer the book overall to the television show. It's really up in the air for me. I feel like a lot of the times they should be taken just as themselves, 2 separate things. For example, I know that the Shadowhunter series, they got a Netflix TV show, but also there was a movie, and I haven't watched really either of them, but even between the movie and the TV show, the adaptations just had to be different, and they were written by different people, and you know there were different emphases on different things. They're just different mediums, and you kind of have to take them for what they are. Was it a good movie in and of itself? Was it a good TV show in and of itself? Did it hit all the marks that the book did? Probably not, but was it cohesive enough where if you didn't have the book, you could still understand what was going on? That to me is a better mark of whether or not it was a good adaptation or not. I think that's all 9. I don't know, I don't think I missed any. That's all I have for you today. I'm probably gonna do one more of these tags because I feel like I copped out this week for something, and hopefully I'll get that up before the week is out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below if you haven't already, and share this video or other videos that you like, because we're closing in on 100 people, and then I will do the giveaway and someone will get a book. because I love you. I really do. I appreciate you. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.
She said it will never go away. I know there is nothing left to say. Can we try to hold on just for now, even if we don't know how to show them what we're all about? Oh.